Okay, so today we are kind of doing I guess, a final review. I've had a chance now to use this lens for a fair bit this summer, actually. And I'll bring it up here. It's the Tamron 18 to 400. Now, I've gone on a few trips, local trips. I've been leaving from Nova Scotia all the way out to New Hampshire area where we spent about 10 days. And we did an Alaska trip where we spent 7 days on a cruise plus a full day in Vancouver. And this was the only camera lens combo that I brought. So I was shooting on the Canon EOS R7 with an EF adapter on it, making this lens, of course, an 18 to 400, which converts to about a 28 to 640, I believe. And there's a few things that I learned about this lens, of course, and it's one of those things that you just have to learn about lenses and take some time when you're out shooting. So, uh, let's go into some of my photos that I took, some of the videos that I took. We'll show you some samples, etc., and we'll let you know if we think it's a good purchase. So number one, if you are looking for professional results, you're thinking of buying this as a professional lens. You're going to be doing wedding photography, or you're going to be doing professional whatever it is. Probably not the lens for you. Probably not the lens for you because I did find that there was some like purple fringing, some chromatic abrasion, and like any lens that has that kind of range, I think this is probably one of the lenses with the most range. 18 to 400 is pretty crazy. You're going to have some lens distortion. That's just part and parcel of it. If you want to be doing professional work, then I would definitely be investing in faster lenses, more professional lenses, and possibly even if you're someone that does a lot more shooting in scenarios where you don't get a lot of light, because it's not a fast lens, that may be something that you want to think of as well. But you're not going to get an all-in-one lens like the Tamron 18 to 400. Just realize that. The photos that I'm going to show you here, these were all taken, most of them were taken in like daytime, but it was overcast a lot of the time we were away. And it did actually very well. Now, one of the things that you do want to be aware of, and this is something that I found, and it's something, I don't know if it was just me or the way I put it in my camera bag, is that on the camera right here, there's a autofocus on off button, which is good. And then there's a VC, so a vibration control button, that's on and off as well. And this button, for whatever reason, it's got a good solid click to it, but many times I would take it out of my camera bag and I'd go to shoot, especially video, not so much in photography that I would notice it, but in video I'd be like, that's really shaky. And I'd look and the vibration control button had switched. Now that's probably me. That's probably something in my bag that was rubbing up against it or something and was turning it off, but just something to be aware of. Again, this is one of those things with photography, you do have to have some photography knowledge. And for those of us that are shooting a lot of, like, if you're a shooter that shoots in automatic, or if you're someone that shoots in program mode, I'd be a little cautious because of the fact that if you are at full zoom, so you are at that 400 range, one of the things that you kind of want to ensure is that there's a rule out there that says, you want to, if you're shooting at like 200 millimeter, you should be shooting at a minimum of 1/200th of a second. If you're shooting at 400 millimeters, you should be shooting at a minimum of 1/400th of a second. And this was something that you, as a photographer, needs to really remember and be checking. So a lot of the times when I was shooting, because since this is a high aperture, right, not a fast lens, primarily a lot of the times I was shooting in shutter priority mode so that I could adjust the shutter speed to make sure that it was fast enough. And depending on the subject, I would be shooting at 600, 1000, or faster, just to make sure that I was getting that sharpness of the photo that I kind of wanted. But yeah, you really have to be aware of that. So if you are shooting, for instance, in aperture priority, you could see the shutter drop down as slow as, you know, 1/100th or it doesn't really matter, right? It wasn't shooting fast enough, so you'd end up getting some blurry photos. Not necessarily, again, a problem with the lens, a problem with our settings, and a lot of times just sometimes our knowledge, right? Because if we had a wider lens to start, we don't think about that, but it is something to think about. Okay, so let's go into some of the photos here. Number one, you know what? These are all RAWs coming out of my Canon R7, and you know what? It did really well. Now, a few of the photos that you'll see here, I do believe sometimes they look a little hazy, and that's environmental because of the fact that two things. A lot of these photos, example this one, I was shooting through a train window, right? You can actually see little smudges right there. Those were little dots on the actual window. So again, not a fault of the lens, but good color, right? No issues there. Sharpness was good. If you are someone that's going to be pixel peeping, then again, is it going to be the sharpest lens out there? No. Is it more than adequate? Yes. When I was showing people photos from our trip that I had taken with my iPhone versus what I had taken with my R7 and this lens, everyone always liked the actual camera photos better because they have that look and feel of an actual camera versus a little bit more of a flat feel from a cell phone. Going through some of these, that's a vertical version of it. Glacier. Again, these are all shot through the window of the train. And sometimes you have to shoot fast. The train's moving quick. You know what? You burst shoot out the window, hoping that you'll get something. But this one, actually, you know what? I was quite pleased with. You know, it turned out really good. So you can actually see, I think, in here, see, 1/400th of a second. You can see it right there, right? So it probably would have been even better if I fired it a little faster. And there's that Tamron right there. Cool. Same thing here. I think, did I shoot this one fast enough? Yeah, 1/400th. How much had it locked there? 1/400th. 1/400th. I probably should have went faster. Now these ones here, 1/400th, fine, because this was me actually on top of the cruise ship shooting. But again, I'm very pleased with the results of this, you know. And if you actually come in here, this is where you start to see a little bit as it loads, right? You start to see sometimes when you go in and you're pixel peeping. This one not too bad, but sometimes if you go in there, this is where you might be able to see some purple fringing, but not so much on this one. I'm pretty pleased with this, you know. Maybe again, it's hard to tell if that's purple fringing or if that's just the color on the bottom of the boat. But as a travel photographer, or as someone who's traveling, and as a travel lens and as an all-purpose lens, yeah, I'm pleased. I think it did really well. And again, to be able to, two things. And this is something, if you are shooting with something like an R7, for instance, you know, you can definitely hold the camera really steady. And this is something that I found. You can hold it really steady from 18 mils up to 200 mils. Some of us maybe even break that and hold it really steady, 250, depending on your environment and depending if you're shooting photo or video. But if you are shooting with a high resolution camera, you know, I could crop this in, shoot a little wider so I can get that extra steadiness, maybe even get a little bit extra light, and then do a little bit of cropping after, because you know what, with 32 megapixels, you get a fair bit of zoom ability, right? Now, if you were to look all the way in on this area here, is that perfectly clear? No. But again, what am I shooting at? 1/400th. I probably could have shot a little faster. And I'm not 100% sure where my focus hit. But you know what? As a photo like this, like that right there, yeah, no, that's great. That's great. This is shooting again. What am I shooting at here? I think I'm shooting at full 18. Still 1/400th. And that's full wide. It does really good at wides. I really found it. The wide, again, if you can get it underneath that like 200 and under, it's actually really, really nice. when you go above 200, it gets a little softer, of course, because you are going to start to see a little bit more imperfections on the lens. And you and I really need to know our photography a bit better to make sure that our shutter speed is up there. I would shoot, if this was something I was doing a little bit more seriously, I would shoot with either like a monopod or a tripod just to keep the camera as steady as possible. Right, same thing right here. Like great shots if you zoom in on these, you know. That's plenty as it loads up. Plenty sharp there. You can see actually it probably focused right there. Like that's plenty sharp. What more do you want from a travel all-purpose lens? Like I think that looks all right, you know. And I shoot, as you guys can see here, I shoot just a little on the darker side, just so that I can try to recover as much highlights as possible. Again, this one here, actually, 1/400th, I probably should have shot it a little faster, but 177 millimeters. Again, you know, you come in here, once it loads up, you know, I'm pleased with that. I'm okay with that. I think that's lovely, getting all your textures on there. Yeah, that's all right. It's good. Wide shots are excellent. Wide shot, more wide shots, more wide shots, more wide shots. Here we start to zoom in a little bit. Again, 138, but again, once that loads up here, you know, you can see this lady shooting with her iPhone. If you're on one of these photos, please comment below if you're on the trip with us. This was the little excursion boat that took these guys out to go see the glacier up close. Oh, that's, I think, even a little better. Loading. How do we get another iPhone? Come on now. That's okay. Look how sharp that is. Did I shoot this any faster? Yeah, see, a little faster. 1/1000th. So when I got up to 1,000, she sharpened. So a lot of times, again, I was on a cruise ship that was moving. These guys are on a boat that's moving. You really have to be like, okay, I need to shoot a little bit faster. That 1/400th wasn't fast enough, right? No, yeah, that one's good. That one's good. Again, we're shooting pretty wide here, I think. Oh no, focal length 265. So these guys were zoomed in a fair bit. Iceberg, full 400 mil, handheld. Look at that. Come on now. That's okay. And again, what did I shoot at? 1/1000th. I think 1/1000th at the full zoom. For me, I think it was kind of the sweet spot. Same thing here, full 400. I think I missed focus on the seal because the ice is there, but it's not too bad. Not too bad. Now, if you didn't have it, here's a for instance. Normally, if I was shooting a glacier like this, a lot of times, you know what, you'd have maybe a 24 to 105, or maybe even a 70 to 200. I would not have got this. This guy popped up, hopped on the ice. He was there for like 4 seconds and he was gone. If I had to switch lenses, this was the only wildlife we saw on our trip to Alaska, pretty much, that was out on an iceberg. I would have totally missed it. I've got a shot of it. I'm one of the only ones in our group of 8 that got a shot of this because of this lens. So, awesome. Another wide shot, lovely, you know. You know what? It does great. Again, if you're a pixel peeper and you want to go in and really play with this, or look at the faults, are you going to find them? Sure. Are you going to be able to find faults in any lens? Yeah. Is this a $2,000 or $3,000 lens? No, it's, you know, it's this lens that you can pick up Canadian for like $700, which is actually really good. We shot this one here because I wanted to show scale of the glacier to the boat that was out there, but you know, it's a boat. It's not too bad. That's just going to be compression on there, but I think I hit focus pretty decently. But yeah, that looks really good. And that's, of course, at full 400. Again, 1,000. Back out to 18. I really like it when it's under that 200. It's just got a really nice look to it. And it's easy to control under that 200. Over the 200, you just have to be conscious of what's going on, buddy. What's going on? Conscious of things like shutter speed, right? I'd get it up above that 400 for sure. Probably get it closer to like the 1,000. But yeah, look at like these are fantastic. 265 turned out actually really nice. That seems nice and sharp, right? Once that loads up there, yeah, like I hit that pretty good. Yeah, I'm pleased with that one. That's really good. My dog's just growly. Again, here's some other shots. Movement. What am I shooting at? Focal length, speed. Oh, I shot it even faster here. That's 3200 because I did realize I was at full zoom. The kayak was, or the canoe was moving. Uh, I was tired, so I wasn't holding the camera super steady. But it turned out good. More glacier shots and boats and boats and boats. Fishing. And again, like you look at this kind of shot, it's super crisp. And you know what? Even though it's not a fast lens and it's not like an f.2 to 2.8 or anything lower than that, when you are shooting like close up, and this is, I have some shots over here, because it has such a nice focusing distance, it's not actually that far, and a good zoom, you can almost get, I don't want to say macro photos, but you can get some really nice close-up photos. For instance, this little spider here, if I zoom in on him, once this loads up, right, you can actually see it's noisy because I shot at, I don't know, ISO 5000, but focus-wise, it hit pretty good. And if you're looking at it like normal, that's fine. I think the noise was because I've color corrected this one a bit. But flowers, look at that blur in the background. So if you get close enough to your shot and you really want, again, you know a little bit about photography and how to manipulate yourself to be able to get as much blur in the background, you can get some shots like these, right? You got my little bees there, which is awesome. More flowers. And again, you're not seeing these in perfect clarity because it takes a little bit of time for them to load up. But you know what? Yeah, I'm super happy. Again, this plane was somewhere like down here taken off. And that's how close we were able to get to it. So, yeah. Again, yeah, you know what? In regards to photography, anything under 200 millimeters, I'd say if you can shoot somewhere in and around this, let's say the 400 mil or 1/400 second, you're going to get really nice sharp images. At the full zoom, you really need to be shooting probably above, like let's say 1000. 1/400, you can get away with it, but if you can shoot even faster and get that 1/1000, a lot of us aren't that steady hand holding, so just kind of be aware of that. Trial and error, figure out where you are, but I was very pleased with the results. In regards to videography, so shooting video with this lens, again, you know what? It locked onto focus. It did everything I wanted it to do. I had full range. It was nice to not be able to have to change lenses in the middle of anything. Just kind of have it and carry it, and off I went. Which was great because with this, I had the ability to get multiple shots of the same thing. You know, a wide shot of it, a close shot of it, etc., etc. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to play you some video that I took over the trip. We'll put it with some music so that you guys can enjoy a song, because who doesn't like a little bit of music, you know, when you're watching this? And then we'll come back and give you our final results. So that was some video. Again, it has the same kind of, I want to say limitations. Not so much with shutter speed, because that's really up to you. But, you know, if you're shooting 200 mil and under, I would say that for the majority of us, we could probably get away with hand holding it if you don't mind running a stabilizer like in post afterwards. Uh, 200 and above, I shot it primarily with a monopod. Now, I would have actually preferred to shoot with a tripod, but because of the limited carry room that I had, I only brought a monopod with me, and it helped a lot, but a tripod would have helped even more, just keeping it that much steadier. Other than that, you know what, it did a great job. It along with the R7, they worked really well together. I had no complaints. Nothing didn't work during my trip, so I don't know what else to tell you. The video was good. Was good, you know. If you have any questions or comments on this lens, please leave them down below. I'd like to know your experience with it. This was my experience, and I'm very pleased to have this. If I were to travel again, which I am doing some more travel this summer, and have limited space for sure, and know that I'm in a scenario where having reach and having wide is really important, which it is in a lot of scenarios. This is a lens I will definitely bring. It's the one that I will take with me. Now, if you're in a scenario where utmost picture quality is the utmost importance, then I would probably bring, you know, 3 or 4 lenses with me. But that also is more of an expense if you have to go buy those lenses. It's also a lot heavier. When I came back from my trip, even with just a single lens, because I had this camera with lens, I had my laptop, I had my monopod, I had a bunch of action cameras, etc., etc. It's still a lot of weight that you're carrying around. So you have to realize that if you're taking more with you, it's more weight, right? More chance of loss. Are you going to have better image quality with 3 or 4 dedicated lenses? For sure. For an all-in-one lens, and this is truly an all-in-one lens, I really don't think you can complain too much. I think it does a fantastic job. Image quality is great, and I'll definitely be using it again. All right, my friends, this was the Tamron 18-400 paired up with the Canon EOS R7. Of course, I had to use EFS adapter to get it to mount, but thumbs up. I think it did a great job. All right, guys, links down below to Tamron's website, and I'll see you guys next video. Later.